I'm so glad that we get Link Click 2 episodes in a row. Oh my gosh. So I took a break. I had some lunch and I came back and I rewatched episode 1 and realized the only correction I have that I kind of talked about in the discussion is that the one guy on the phone is in fact Min Lu's dad. And so what a jerk, right? But we have Qian on the case now. Things are happening. I'm so glad Lu is alive. Oh my God. But now the show is going to put us permanently in the constant state of fear that something bad is going to happen to Lu. Right? So we're just going to be in a constant state of panic because, yeah, we know nothing about the friend. We know nothing about them. We don't know who they are, where they're at, how their powers work. They're trying to figure out how Lu and Chang's power works. And I'm a little bit scared because they know their names. They know that they do it through photos. They know that there's there's some kind of technique to it. So I don't trust the friend, and I don't like the friend knows so much that they do, and we know nothing about them except that they can maybe go into the photos as well. I think they're doing it through the phone. I think the phone is how they travel, but y'all, I'm really excited because this is a detective story. So Lu and Chang are going to try to figure out what can we do to learn about the friend and how they work. But I'm like, if Ling can be possessed, how do we not know that Lu and Chang can't be possessed? Maybe because they're power users and people that use the powers can't be possessed? I don't know. And how the powers work. We have the new ED. We have the new OP. The new ED is suggesting that there's maybe some like history and backstory with this time travel. The OP looks interesting too. I'm curious to know. Now we know that Ben is dead. Chin Ben, that's one of the police officers working with Captain Chow, is dead. What do we do, y'all? There's so much to talk about. And I feel like it's going to be great because we can't be spoiled. We don't know where the story's headed. I'm so excited. So yes, I did want to give a quick shout out over onto Patreon to our philanthropy tier. Thank you all so much for supporting me and supporting the channel and all of my ramblings, especially about Link Click. So you can check them out here. I want to give a special shout out to Edgar, to Dana, to Alex Cornejo, to Be Happy, to Kiri, to Librarian of Lang, to Shimoyama, to Truck, to Nameless Monster, to Natalia Zaharia, to Tyrone, to Anime Annie, as well as Eric, Kuba Lutek, Translucent Min, Sunspots, and Anna. Oh my gosh, y'all. And so, shameless plug, if you want to get on the Discord and join us and talk about these episodes as they come out, you can for $1 over on Patreon. And you can see episodes a week early through Patreon as well. But yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited. I could not wait. Obviously, with 2 episodes coming out at once, how could I wait to watch this one? So yeah, I'm sorry you all have to wait to see this reaction, but I'm so freaking excited, y'all. There's so much that could happen, and I'm going in this, like you all, completely blind. So we're just on the ride. We are just strung along the ride that Link Click gives us, and we have no choice. But this show's so good, and I'm so excited to see what it cooks up. So we are going to start episode 2 of Link Click. And I want to double check real quick and make sure my subtitles are on, make sure my sound is on. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. And let's do this, y'all. So remember how like 60% of my theories are wrong now? Oh my God! Oh, I know why they released 2 episodes at once now, because these 2 episodes were like perfect back to back, like just encapsulating together. It's like they had a 1-hour premiere and they're like, we gotta split it into 2 episodes because holy cow, this series did not have to go as hard as it's already gone, and we're only 2 episodes in, right? Which, granted, I say we're only 2 episodes in, but if the series is only going to be 11 episodes, we're like nearly 1/6 of the way through the season, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like at this point, we are going to be spending a lot of time backtracking. I have a feeling based on the ED, based on what we find out in this episode, I feel like a lot of this season is going to be explaining the powers of Lu and Chang and whoever this mystery kid is. I feel like this is going to be explaining who they are, what their abilities are, how this works, right? And how this goes. And with Qian, I'm like, does he have these abilities too? I'm like, I don't know. I'm so curious, but I feel like we're going to be spending a lot of this season finding out what the powers are and how they work, how Lu got them, how Chang got them. And so I feel like we need to have over here, if I can get this on here, theories. So theories on the powers. All right, theories on those. Do I think that Lu and Chang are actually going to go into a mansion? Probably not, but we'll talk about the Edie at the end of this. And then things, all right, things we do know. Okay. Ah, holy cow. I'm just like kind of floored, right? Kind of floored by this entire thing. And I want to go through this a little bit more carefully than I did the last episode, because last episode was just like, oh my gosh. I find it very hilarious that we start out this entire series each week with them being like, follow us on social media, and then neither of them have social media anymore. And I was like, so okay, we started out with Min Liu's death, where we went back there. Where the dad says, I don't care about his death. How do we deal with his belongings? Are they to be claimed by his family? Okay, that part's really weird because that's his dad talking. His dad saying he doesn't care about his son's belongings. Are they going to be, he doesn't care about his son's death. He just cares about the belongings. So we know that Min Liu, that the dad only cares who gets his things, which is weird. And we know that he has an older brother, an older or younger brother, maybe it's a younger brother, that is the more liked sibling. Okay. There was lots of talks about like brothers in this episode. A lot of talk about brothers. There's like the brothers that are the Lu brothers. There was the idea that Qian and Ben were like, they were like brothers in the police force before Qian left and became a lawyer. Getting Mikami vibes from him. Can we just go ahead and say that we have like, I talked in the last episode about the kid having a light Yagami vibe. Can we talk about the kid who is the friend? Yes, from the OP. Okay, we're going to talk about them with Lu. Them and Mr. Qian. I'm getting like a Light and Mikami vibe from Death Note with them. I really am, especially with Qian being a lawyer. I'm getting that vibe. And then also, like, does that make Ma Misa? Like, I don't know what to do with that. But yeah, or Takeda maybe. If you've not watched Death Note, this will mean nothing to you. But if you've watched Death Note, it will mean everything to you. So yeah, I don't know. But the kid and the friend is working with Qian. Okay, that's freaky. So that leads me to believe that, okay, they had Ma get the photo. We know that Qian is a lawyer, so who would have access to get evidence. But why he's working with the kid, I don't know. So the kid is from the Crane game. The kid is from the Crane game in the OP, tying to that. But also had the stuffed animals that was tied to the poor Ben Chin. That woman is going to be stressed. Like, she and that baby are going to be stressed out. And we'll talk about, like, changing fate. We're going to talk about that and the theme behind that, because that seems like it's something in here. But with the whole thing, Qian was like, it's not going to be that simple. He's a suspect in a serial murder case. And so he's like, his personal belongings have been confiscated. So I'm wondering, how can I get them back? So yeah, they go up to see the woman, and he carries that box of the apples with him. They carry the box of things. And he says he has stuff to give to Ben. And she comes in and says, oh, I've been pregnant for over 8 months. Come in and sit down. Okay, so the picture that they took is the picture of the two of them together, right? There's a photo of their feet, there's a photo of them with coffee, and there's a photo where he's like hugging her, right? And he brings in the apples and everything. And I love that they zoomed in on the photographs, right? They zoomed in on the photos to let it be known so that when one's missing later, we're like, oh, they took a photograph. And it's one of him and her together. Okay. So then we have the Crane game and everything. And so there's a tunnel involved. I'm a little bit worried for Chang now. Now that Lou has lived. Although I'm worried for Lou because his cut was opening up again. He was bleeding again. Show, why are you making me freaked out about this? Why? Why are you making me scared that Lou's gonna like bleed out again? Because Chang, now it's like going through a tunnel, you know, like when you go through a tunnel, you see a light at the end of the tunnel, like you're gonna live or die. And then we see that Chang is like encountering all these people. We do see in the OP, Lou and the kid together. So I'm like, what's the deal with that? The kid looks like they have white hair too, right? So theory time. We're gonna talk about all these theories. The idea, and in the short, one of the questions was, why does Lou have white hair? And Qian has black hair. So I'm like, is there a black and white, like photos, black and white in the ED, the characters? They both have black hair in the ED, but still, we'll talk about it. But so Lou and the kid, right? Lou Guang and the kid. They both seem to have white hair. Okay? Are they, here's the thing. Does the white hair signify, are they born with these powers? Are they born with the powers to work with photos? Is that the case? I think Anime Annie, I got on the Discord to let everybody know, be like, I'll be right back. I got to talk about episode 2. And then I think Anime Annie, one of their theories was, is Lou a lot older than he lets on? Because they were saying, like, you know, Lou's always kind of like an old soul in a young body. And Chang, I love that they use the thing that he's the old martial artist master's father. And they're like, wow, how's he look so young? And I'm like, oh, come on. But they're like, is that a foreshadowing that he's a lot older than he seems? Is he? So are they older than they seem? We don't know. Are they older? I don't know about that, but I don't think that like Lou's an immortal yet. I don't know. If he's older than he seems. My thing is, I think maybe he's born with these powers. My thing is, I think it's opposite. I don't think that he's like really, really old. I don't think they have a lot of time on this earth. I think their time is limited. I think that the hair turning white and everything, I think it's a sign that they're going to die a lot quicker than everyone else because of these powers. That's the price you pay for getting the powers. Going back and forth in time, it limits your own time on this earth, which is equally horrifically tragic, and I don't like that either. But I'm wondering if it limits your time on earth because you have these powers. That's like the price you pay, right? And there's also this talk of giving, well, there's talk of taking powers. So someone else proposed this in the Discord as well, and I agree with this theory, that could it be, I was going to talk about it in the episode, and then when they said in the Discord, I'm like, yes, I'm right on there with you. Could it be that Lou gave Chang the power? We talked about this in season 1. It seemed like Lou gave Chang the powers. It seemed like in season 1 we talked about this, that Lou gave Chang the powers. We don't know how, we don't know why, we don't know the circumstances, but Lou and Chang met. He gave Chang the powers because they worked well together. So could Lou, but the question is how did Lou get the powers to give Chang? And then the other question with that is, has the kid gave Qian any powers? Because Qian's eyes were kind of like that golden color, kind of like Chang's turn when he uses powers. So I'm like, did the kid give Qian powers just like Lou gave Chang powers? We don't know, right? I do love the primary colors, like the kid has red eyes, Lou has blue eyes, and Chang has golden eyes. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do with that. Again, this show is not giving us answers. But, oh my gosh. So this episode's called Night Raid. Very apt episode. And so we get the woman back here saying that Ben Chin graduated from the police college then, and now he's about to be a father. And that time passes quickly. And she says, indeed. And we see the one guy looking around. He's like looking around at everything. Like he's just looking for something to take. He was impulsive after graduation, but you took care of him. In his mind, you're always his elder brother. Again, there's a lot of talk about older brothers. Like Lou, if you didn't want to ship them romantically, you could say that Lou is like the older brother to Chang. Qian is like the older brother to Ben. You could say that we have the older brother of Min Lu. I mean, like, there's lots of talk of brothers in this episode, right? And so he's like, well, that's all in the past, which is very curious, meaning like, he's like, I didn't do a good job as his brother. I quit, failing to stand with him till the end. So he quit the police force. So we get the idea that Qian, why did he quit? Why did he quit? Okay. And then what does Ma do? Ma was looking around. He was looking for a photo to take, maybe? But why would he be looking around the walls and stuff? He was just looking for a random photo, right? He said he quit the police force. What was the reason behind it? Is there something else? Like, does Chow know something about Qian? She said, you became a lawyer. That's much better than a police officer. She's like, and now look at you. You're even more handsome in your outfit. If it wasn't for his aspirations, I'd prefer he kept following you. And he's like, well, I'll definitely give him a hand if he wants to. And she's like, he hasn't only been here like a month. He says cases. So Qian knows a lot about, so let's establish here that Qian, whoever he be, Qian knows about Zhao and Qin, and he's a lawyer that was a cop. So he knows a lot about Li, about Chao Li, and knows a lot about him and all the work that he does and how dangerous it is. So maybe that's why he got out of it. But I'm so curious. Also, why are his eyes like golden like that? Are they golden the entire time? And so then we cut back and see back and forth between the two of them. He's like, can you help me with this? I was like, I cannot believe I thought the kid was their kid, but no, she hadn't had a baby. The kid misbehaving was her talking about the baby misbehaving. And then we see Ma like burping there, and you could tell that Qian doesn't like that at all. And so she tells him how he hasn't been home. That's why he decided to leave. And so Qian says, that's why I decided to leave and start my own business. By the way, is he handling the case for the Che D games recently? And she's like, I have no idea. He doesn't talk to me about work. But she's like, I'm not interested. It's too scary. Girl, I don't believe you. Not good for the baby. I don't want this woman to find out that her husband is like dead. Oh my God. Ugh. And so, yeah. So she says it's not good for the baby. And he's like, oh, well, the first rule I taught him was to keep his mouth shut. And he's not done that. So Qian says, the first rule was to not talk because it would put her in danger. So clearly he hasn't told her anything because he doesn't want her to get involved and be at risk. Smart. Yep. He still sticks to this. Good. Because he doesn't want her to get injured and get, caught up in it. So he asks, do you know it's already a girl? And she says, of course not. Nowadays, doctors aren't allowed to tell us. So I guess, is that a thing in China? Is that a thing in China where doctors can't tell you if you're having a boy or girl? Is that because of like the former one girl rule that used to be in place? That's interesting. I know here in the US, people usually find out gender all the time, but a lot of families decide not to. They don't want to know. They just want to guess and see what it is. She says they're not allowed to tell us, but he wants a daughter. So he bought this and that regardless of anything. And says he said he was changing fate with faith. So I feel like that's going to be a theme that comes up in this season. The idea of changing fate with faith. The idea of trusting. And the idea of trust and changing the future. That is actually really huge because we've seen already that come into action. Like in the last episode, Chang was debating whether or not he should try to go in the past to save Lu. And he went back to what Lu was saying about, you fool, don't change the past. Don't worry about the future. And he decided, okay, that's what Lu said. I'm not going to do it. And because he didn't do it, Lu is alive, right? But it seems like we're right back to the same thing of being stuck in this horrible situation. And then with Ling, she told him, she's like, trust me to come with you and help. And he did. So I feel the idea of trust is going to be huge this season. Like, who do we trust? How do we trust? And then using that trust to change fate. It's like the trust becomes faith in someone that changes fate. Maybe it didn't work out for Qin, but maybe it'll work out for the others. I don't know. This season has such a way of making you wonder, like, what's going to happen? Don't you think he's crazy? And Qian just laughs. He's like, well, he mentioned it to me years ago. And he's like, I bought a box of fruit. And he's like, Mom, move it to the kitchen. So he basically just gave him the box of fruit to bring in as a gift. And then Mom moved it to the kitchen and took the photo while he was there. It was all just a ploy so they could snoop around and take a photograph. Oh my God. Like, that was the whole reason. And she's like, oh, it's too heavy to move around. Oh, Ben will just get it. And they're like, no, please have a seat. It's fine. Uh-huh. And then that's when we went to get the clothes. So now there is the thing with the stuffed animal and the little creepy deer. I don't know exactly how that works. And then we notice, looking at the pictures, the one is gone. Yep. He's handling some affairs. And she's like, why do I feel strange? Like, she has this premonition that she thinks it's because he's buying stuff for their daughter, but it's that and the fact that he's going to die. And so then he says, boss, your acting was too realistic. Uh-huh. I thought you were looking for the guy. I really thought you were looking for the guy named Ben Qian. So is this not Qian? Is this a different guy? Is it, my question with Qian's character is, if he really worked with, he said he was acting, he said, I really thought you were looking for the guy named Ben Qian. So I'm like, is he not the guy that went to school with Ben and Zhao? He seems to know them. Is he getting revenge on them? He has to know they're going to kill him. So why is he not who he says he is? Because Ben seemed to know a guy named Qian. So is he just posing as him? I'm so confused about Qian's character. I want to know, is he really a lawyer? Did he actually go to school? Is he the guy that he says he is? Is he the guy? Because she says Mr. Qian's here. And the guy on the phone that's his dad called him Mr. Qian. So either he's someone totally different posing as a Mr. Qian that they all think he is and he's not him. Or someone else is possessing Qian and making him do all these things. Or is Qian out for revenge against Chao and Qin and them? But then why? So I'm so intrigued by Qian's character and curious what the hell he's doing, right? He said, because he says there, he's like, your acting was too realistic. He says, I really thought you were looking for the guy named Ben Qian and let me replace him. So what? What about it? He says, if I hear you burp loudly again, I'll cut your throat. So, like, he's so serious there. Like, what the hell? Like, he's pretty terrifying. And then he's like, oh, like, Ma seems pretty simple. Ma seems kind of like a simpleton. Like, he just is a goon, like a grunt that's doing things, but they have him around for a reason. He's resourceful somehow. The question is, I'm so curious, like, what is with Qian? What is with the idea of replacing people? What? There's so much. I'm like, what is happening? Why are we replacing people? What's going on? Good. He's like, did you get it? When I moved the apples to the kitchen, I got one. And it's the photo, and she's just sitting there sweeping the floors. Yep. And so he's like, I'm really tied up today, but let's go have a meal after my wife gives birth. Yeah, and so, okay, he talks to Qian on the phone. He talks to him on the phone. So, what is the case you're dealing with so tricky? Why did he call him back? I guess because to confirm he was there. He says, I'm really tied up today. Let's go have a meal after my wife gives birth. Is the case you're dealing with so tricky? When do you think it can be finished? And he says, it's hard to say. I hope to have it done as soon as possible, of course. I don't want to miss the birth of my child. He says, oh, that'd be a pity. And then he's like, okay, I just dropped by to visit you. No worries. And he's like, okay. So he knows Qian, so they know each other. Why was he okay with him dying? So why was he okay with him dying? I mean, it makes sense why Ben called him back once they got to the hospital. He called him back to say, hey, sorry I missed your call, but was my wife okay? Are you all right? What's up? And we'll get together again. And then Qian was like, yeah, it'd be a pity if you died this episode. I'm like, what is Qian's deal? What is up with him? He's a creepy character. What is happening? I need to know. Okay. And then he's like, oh, does it feel good on you? As he's going there. But yeah, we have the van, the sketchy ass van. And then there's the kid that has like the pink raincoat, which does not mean they're a girl or boy. We don't know. I just guessed it was a girl because I was thinking of the daughter in the last episode, but it could very well be a boy. And then he leans back there and says, "Do it." And we see the photo with him in it. And we see the person with the, and it looks like either pink or white hair. So Qian wanted Ben to get possessed, but why? What is going on? Why are they after Lu? Why are they after Chang? What is happening? Why are they, I guess they're trying to get rid of people so that the death of Min Lu is covered up, but why do they care? It almost seems though like when Qian says "do it" to the kid, it seems like he's ordering the kid around, which is fascinating because it's the other way. Lu is the one that tells Chang what to do, and this seems the opposite. So what is happening? What is going on? And so, yeah. So it says before suffocation, one would, what did he say there? He said it's hard for somebody to, it's very difficult for people to strangle themselves to death. Before suffocation, one will experience muscle weakness due to lack of oxygen. So, and then we cut back to the cartilage in the neck being stopped. The rescue didn't work in the end. And he's like, but why did the police officer hide it? And he's like, and then we go back to that whole thing. So the question is, when was Ben possessed? When did this happen? What was going on? Why was Ma there? What? Can we speak to our... So, like, what is happening? And then we go back to everything. And they say they set them up in a hospital that is basically this new facility. There's no doctors or other staff there. So it's basically going to be isolated, which on the one hand seems like a great idea. It's isolated, but then you find out that everybody, the bad guys are all there, and you're like, no, this is bad that's isolated. The more people that are there, the less chance they would be to try to ambush them, and it's just like, damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? We say that if the criminal has the ability to remotely control others, let alone Ling's attack on Lu Guang, it's possible he caused the suicide. The biggest problem is we know nothing about them. Yes. Who is under control? When are they controlled? How long is the control? We don't know any factors. That's the problem. We just know that it's done through photographs, the same way as their power, and it's done through photographs, and they can apparently maybe take powers from people, whatever that amounts to. But we don't know anything else. They're like, yeah, once they found out Lu was alive, they're going to come for him. And so then that's when Chang reveals that they deleted all the photos. And so that's when they reveal that they also used the master. So they say, oh yeah, he's my father. And they're like, oh wow, your father's hair is all white, but he looks much younger than you. He's like, what does he do for anti-aging? And they were laughing, except Chow was just like, oh my god, this is embarrassing. He just practices Tai Chi and climbs the stairs. Oh my god. And then I like that Chang laughs about it, and Lu's like, he's an old man deep inside. Yeah. So there's the question, like, is Lu older than he appears? And that's why he's blushing about it. But I don't know. Like, is Lu older than he seems? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know that much yet, right? And he says, when I was confronting Ling, that his abilities related to photos and using them, but he also said the phrase that he would, this part is a bit confusing. He said the phrase, it seems I'm right. And he says, interesting. I want to take it from you and experience it myself. He said, take it. That means our abilities can be taken away. Now, Lu's kind of freaked out by this. Lu's kind of like, So the question is, does Lu know more than he's letting on and he's just not telling anybody? But at this point in the game, if your lives are at stake, you think that Lu would tell them, like, yeah, tell them all you know because they might need to know this information. I wonder if Lu actually doesn't know how that works. Maybe Lu knows that powers can be taken away, but he doesn't know how it works, so that's why he says, I'm not sure. He's like, he didn't say no, he didn't say yes, he just said, I'm not sure. So he may know that powers can be taken, but he doesn't know how it works. I have a feeling we only have so many episodes. I have a feeling we're going to be doing flashbacks. I have a feeling we're going to be doing like explanations of abilities, like how this all came from. I don't know. I feel like that's what's happening. And he's like, I'm not quite sure. And Chang's like, okay, well, anyway. And he says, anyway, since it's related to photos, then I delete all the information and everything. So Chang, I do love that Chang is taking the initiative here, and that Chang has seemed to mature. He seemed to have matured a lot since season 1, where he's like, okay, I took the initiative, deleted the photos, and Ling's like, but I didn't have that many photos, so how did he come across me? I feel like in any case, there was probably a chance that Ling had a photo taken of her, and that's, because that's the thing too, it's very well likely that somebody took a photo of her and gave it to the kid to inhabit her body. Like, she may not have posted the photo online. Somebody could have been following them and took the photo themselves. We don't know, right? But he doesn't even have a social media account. And you could say that's weird and that it points to him being really old, but I know people my age that don't have social media, so we can't quite deduce anything. The question is, like, where was the phone? Probably Qian has it, but man. And I like the idea of, I love the idea of Ling being like, look, he says activated by photos. And then she knows that the one photo is gone. I love the idea that Ling is like, you gotta trust me. She's like, I appreciate you protecting me, but you gotta trust me. We gotta work together. And I can handle myself like you can handle yourself. And that whole fight scene, oh my God, it was fantastic. And my dog is like, throw the toy. But she's like, that was fantastic. The poor police chief. Like, oh my God. The part where you like do the close up on Ben's face and he's like crying and his head bleeds, and then the police chief like cries over him. That part was heartbreaking. And I would be absolutely terrified if suddenly I was like, oh my God, people around me are dying left and right. This is bad. And he's like, it's just like Emma. And so the whole building only has 2 exits on the first floor, which is good and bad, because when they get cornered at the end, it's like, how are they getting out of here? And so they go after him and everything. And I love they split the earphones and share them. I love that part there. They split the earphones. And then he's like, it seems that I can only use my powers to go in and find. I love that it's just like tracks where both of them are and where he is. And he can just use it through the surveillance. Again, like the ED, like they're going through the mansion in the ED. See, I don't know. I don't know if the ED looks like, it looks like a, like George Orwell, like the Time Machine kind of sort of setup, right? It looks like something like that from the 1800s. So I don't know if the ED is pointing out to the fact, I don't think they're actually going to go to a mansion in this season, but I feel like maybe this hospital is kind of set up like the mansion, and they're going to be finding clues and stuff out through their dialogue with the kid or whoever throughout this. I don't know. I'm just like, what do we do, right? What do we do? Also, it's got to be noted, Chang looks amazing in this episode with the unbuttoned shirt and the slacks as he's fighting. I felt Lou was like, oh, am I having a panic moment? I feel like Lou was having a panic moment, like, oh my God, Chang, you look great. I was just like, Chang was getting it. And why is Ma there? Did Ma throw him off? Like, what's the deal? What is Ma's purpose? Like, why is he with this group? I don't know what Ma's ability is. He's just very afraid that if he doesn't do things right, he's going to die. Either by Qian or the kid. I don't know. But, like, the whole fight scene, the choreographed everything, like, you could feel the weight of the hits. You could feel the two of them working together. Like, Ling and him both. Like, it was very realistic. And the choreography and animation around it was just, mwah, chef's kiss, right? I freaking loved it. Like, everything about it. I'm like, this anime, this Donghua has gone hard, like, right off the bat. I freaking love it. It's great. And I love that Lou's just like the part where Chang lifts him up over his head and is like, do not hurt my friends. And Lou's just like, well, Lou's like, hello, sir. Like, that part was amazing. I freaking loved that. It was so good. And then, yeah, also Chowling has a jacket with her own name on it, which is hilarious. But yeah, I'm a little worried about Lou. He's already, like, bleeding out from his wounds, which is bad. I don't know if something in the bag is a problem, because we focused on that bag with the toy in it briefly. What the hell's happening? I love that Ling used, like, the little cart thing that you hook the IV up to attack him. And they had him subdued. But then all these people started showing up. Like, there's just randos. Like, they look like Yakuza. Like, are they the mafia working with... They all look like they're the mafia working with Qian. What the hell is happening? And they're the ones that knocked out the chief, knocked out Chow. So, are you kidding me? And they said, take the guy away and leave me the girl. And leave the girl to me. I don't like this. I don't want them to get separated. I'm like, we just had this. I don't want Chang and Ling and Lu to get separated already. We were just out of the... I should have known. We were just out of the woodwork. We were just having a good time. We were just celebrating Lu being alive. And then the second episode's like, JK, just kidding. Here's some more stress. I'm like, why? Because he goes to shut the door, and that's when the kid blocks him with his hand. And the kid, it's definitely a kid because they're shorter, but they have the mask on, and they're like looking up at Lu. And then Chang notices something, like something behind them. Who is standing there? Why is there two people? There's two people. There's somebody that's shorter and somebody taller surrounding them. What's the deal? Why are they there? Is it Qian and somebody else? And then Lu looks up, and then there's the kid with the pink eye. And I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but it's the kid with the pink eye. What the hell? Why? We have to wait a week. Damn it. Why are we not surprised? So yeah, I do want to make note. I do like I like the pocket squares. I like the suits that Chang and Lu are wearing in the ED as they go into this mansion. There's this mansion they're going into. Are they actually going to go into a mansion? We don't know. It's a black and white dot that Ling is watching go through. There is a portrait of a young girl and an older man. So I don't know what that means, if there's reference to that. Neither of them look like Chang or Lu. But it shows them going through the book. Now, the book that they're going through in the ED was also in the OP. So I'm curious about that. What's the deal with the book? And then along with that, there's all the sketches that the guy did of the girl. Like, they're pictures of the girl, right? And then you see Chang looking at the girl. So I'm wondering if the guy in the portrait has the powers and the girl in the portrait is like Chang and he gives the powers to her. Like, is there a third party? How does this work? And it shows them going through the house. They're fixing the portraits. There's a portrait of a mountain that gets fixed. And they're just like scenes. And they're like looking at all the candles. There's 8 candles. And then there's like 8 glasses. And the table has all the dust on it. Like nobody's been there in a while. And then they see the man who's flying. And Chang looks at the portrait of the man flying like an angel, right? Towards the woman that's like on the moon. It looks like she's on the moon. What's the deal? But yeah, it looks like she's on the moon with the like billowing hair, and he like flies up to her. I don't know what that means yet. And then it sees them going, and apparently there's like a basement, and she tells them about it. But like there's an extra basement, and so they're like looking at the portraits and everything, and then they find the one where they touch hands and it opens the door up, and then when they go down into the basement, they find the schematics for like a time machine, and then they find the time machine. So what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know. So I'm so excited because I'm really excited to talk to you all in the Discord and in the comments about this and everything going on and being like, what the hell? But I've not looked at any promotional material, so I don't know anything to do with that. But Qian is fascinating to me. Qian and the kid are fascinating to me because I want to know more about them and their powers. And does Qian have any powers? What's the deal? What's Ma's deal? Like, how does all this work? We said in the shorts that we might find out about Lu's hair, about their abilities, and why they went abroad. I'm hoping we find out in this season all of those things and not in like the prequel live action. I'm hoping this season we spend a good chunk of it figuring out how these powers work and how you get them, especially when the villain of the series is talking about taking them away. So there's that. But yeah, like the mysterious kid, I want to know why they're so obsessed. Like maybe they're just looking for people that are similar to them. What's the deal? Them being a kid makes a lot more sense now based on season 1. It makes so much more sense that they're a kid. Like it just reads it. And so now I'm so curious, but I'm going to go talk to Discord for a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed this reaction discussion. I am floored, and I can't wait to see what else we're going to get with episode 3. I mean, what can we do, y'all? So I'm so excited. The action scenes were so good. The animation was so good. I love the OP and ED. I was really wondering how they were going to top the OP and ED because they were so good for season 1. No, these two are perfect. I'm like, y'all know what you're doing. So Link Click is back, baby. I know it's going to go by far too quickly, so I'm going to savor it for all that it's worth. But I'm like, man, I thought we were out of the anxiety-ridden portion of the episode last week, and now we're right back into the fire. So I'm like, what's the kid going to do with Lou? Are they going to kill him? Are they going to, like, we know that Lou and Chang and Ling can't die already. We still have an entire season, but what's going to happen with them? I don't know, y'all, but I'm on the edge of my seat, and I can't wait to find out. So I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back next week. I'll be back next week with episode 3 of Link Click. Bye, y'all.